All right, buddy. So what's your name and where you from for the people that ain't seen part one?
All right, man. My name is Brian, and I'm from Louisiana.
I'm Brian from Louisiana, and man, your story was definitely a wild one, man. I mean, you were facing life in the penitentiary at one point in time. Go ahead and break it down for us, man. Give us a little recap.
Yeah, so actually, when I first was arrested, facing a first-degree murder charge, I was facing potential death penalty, actually. Because in the state of Louisiana, first-degree murder, it's life or death. So I went, my case went in front of the grand jury and to see if the grand jury had enough evidence to prosecute me on first-degree murder, and they did. So the grand jury said they had enough evidence to prosecute me on all 5 charges, which was first-degree murder, armed robbery, obstruction of justice, arson, and intent to distribute ecstasy. So with that, you know, I was really facing the death penalty for around, I want to say like 9 months. You know how you talk in the dorms, and I was in the dorm, like I told you before, I was in a dorm with only lifers. Everybody was facing life.
Yeah.
We had a few dope cases, but those guys were facing life too because they had probably 3 or more drug charges. I'm not sure how it is in Virginia, but here, if you got 3 felonies of the same charge, you're considered a habitual offender, and a habitual offender is automatic life.
For the same felony in Virginia over here, they don't have the 3-strike rule, but chances are you're gonna be gone pretty much for life. You know what I mean? They don't play on your 3rd time, you know? Okay, so you're in this special block, got nothing but lifers, and that's gonna bring me to a question later on about how it is living with lifers in prison. But you're fighting your case, you're facing life and death. You don't know what's coming your way.
Yeah, I swallowed the pill, man, that I knew I was gonna get life. I had no doubt in my mind that I was gonna spend the rest of my life in prison. Like, it was 100%. My mind was set, I'm living that way. It took about 26 months for the whole case to play out. And after the case played out, my initial charge that I was convicted on was obstruction of justice and arson. I was given 20 for the obstruction because a body was involved. So it carried 0 to 20. With my convictions, I have 4 felonies. So the obstruction of justice and the arson, that was 2 more felonies, and I had 2 prior. So it was 4 altogether. And what they did is they just maxed me out on each charge. So I got the max, and you know, a total of 25 years.
Okay. Okay. Man, arson just by itself gets you smoked. You know, I've seen some people get over 20 years just for that one charge alone. Okay, so you don't get life, you get 25.
Yep.
Okay, and how'd you feel about that?
Honestly, I felt good about it. In the beginning, I was like, dang, 25, you know, like, how the hell I'm gonna do 25? I'm 20, you know, like, how the hell I'm gonna do 25? But as I thought about it, you know, I got guys, I'm seeing guys get life, you know, so that little cloud kind of got over, you know, got from on top of my head, and I seen like 30, 32 years old, you know, I could do that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could do it. I just knew I couldn't do it there, and it was time to go, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. My apologies, y'all. We had a little bit of a flickering light in the background. Sometimes those industrial lights can do that. But we were talking about, you know, people preparing themselves for prison and hearing rumors and stories from individuals that's already been. You said it's like that. Was it like that for you?
It was definitely like that, man. Because I've never been to the pen before. You know, I've been in and out of jail. You know, like I was saying, I think on the last video, you know, we have parish jails, private facilities, satellite camps, and the one state penitentiary, which is Angola.
Yeah, the main one.
the main one. And Angola was one of the bloodiest penitentiaries in the world for years.
Yeah.
So I knew with the case that I had and the time that I had, that it was a possibility I would go there. So, you know, everybody was like, you know, everybody's putting in their 2 cents. You know, you got lifers that's automatically going there. So you constantly hearing everybody, you know, people who've been there telling you, you know, like, don't gamble, you know, don't hang in groups, and, you know, stay away from homosexuality. You know, everybody's saying like that's the major 3 rules to, you know, to get inside your head before you go on this journey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's basically just to stay out of trouble as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the root of them really begins, with those 3 situations, you know. But
Absolutely.
you said the majority of prisons other than Angola is private prisons.
Yeah, so we have like, I want to say 6 DOC facilities.
Okay.
That's it's strictly DOC. They're really called satellites, and they each hold around 3,000 to maybe 5,000 inmates each. And then they have about 30 private facilities, like people who aren't going to the pen or aren't going to like the satellites. They stay in these little private facilities owned by one specific individual, and he just moves you around.
Yeah.
So in the previous one, when I told a story about the guy hitting me in the head with a lock, I was in a private facility.
Okay, and these private facilities, like we talked about before, these guys can pick and choose what kind of inmates come into their prison, you know? So it's kind of like shopping for an inmate, and they don't want the problematic ones in there. So that's why the majority of killers and stuff go to Angola.
And, you know, the private facilities, they get just as bad because, you know, once, you know, like I was saying, every man for himself. It's every man for himself. So when you come in there, wherever you going, you got to stand on your own 10 toes. But when people get there and link up with their homeboys or link up with people who they previously done time before, this little private camp can turn into a disaster real quick, you know, when the wrong group of people click back up.
Oh yeah.
So it still goes down. It's no different. It's just on a smaller scale, and it's controlled a little better because I strongly believe those guys, like the owners, they could kill you and get away with it.
Inmates probably know that too, so.
And they know it.
Yeah. I've been in a highest level was a 3-4, right? And that's medium level security over here in Virginia. But I've been in a level 2 as well, and that was the lowest I went. But you know, it seems like the violence and stuff like that can definitely be cranked up a little bit higher for the individuals that are younger and have a release date. Like they get wild, man, when they know that they're about to be going home or something, and they might not kill you. They don't want to catch a murder, but it gets active. Like you said, man, it can definitely get active depending on the people that they're around. But you said it's just, you know, kind of fend for yourself. I heard stories from you and other people that the gang situations in prison ain't as, I guess you could say, you know, popular as other establishments. It's usually about neighborhoods or areas. So a typical person ain't gonna walk in and get ran down by someone with a set of rules or possibly, hey, come join this, that, or the third.
When you go in there, it's you 100% by yourself, man. You came in there alone, and your goal is to leave out alone and alive. And nobody's guaranteed to make it. You got an out date, but that date is not guaranteed until it gets here.
Well, tell me, man, getting off the bus, how was that situation? People staring you down, all that good stuff?
Yeah, man. So, like at 2:30 in the morning, come hit your rack. Look, you're being transferred. Pack your stuff. You don't have time to call nobody. You don't have time to give nothing away. You pack your stuff and you roll. I was loaded up on the Bluebird, which is the big penitentiary bus like you see on TV. shackled to another guy who's being transferred to maybe the same facility as you, maybe not. You don't know him. You don't really want to talk to him. You don't want to, you know, present yourself friendly. You just want to get to where you're going so you can start. So I was shipped from up north down south to WCI. When I made it to WCI, we did our processing that day. We went, got our clothes, and when we hit the walk, just like these kennels are behind me, there was a yard that held around 600 people, another yard with 600, another yard with 600, another yard with 600, and you walking down a walk with gates on each side, and you got people lined up at the gate looking for a weakness.
Yeah.
You know, you got people, you know, people are saying things, and some people are speaking without even saying a word.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you hit that walk, once you make it to where you going, whatever yard you going, 90% of the people who was on that gate or on that fence, they're coming around and they're going to see what dorms, you know, who's going in, and, you know, maybe try to apply a little pressure for what they seen you walking down that walk.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that you would never experience in life anywhere else, dog.
Yeah. Pure victim status. You know, we've all heard the stories about people trying to take advantage of individuals. I mean, that stuff really happens out there, even in Louisiana?
Everything. Just say, you know, for instance, like when you walk into the dorm, you know, just like I was saying earlier, you know, you got 3 groups of people. You know, you got bandits, you got homosexuals, and you got people who feel like they, you know, run the dorm. So soon as you come in, however you present yourself is how you'll be approached. You know, I've seen we had an older homosexual in one of the dorms. It's been locked up for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when you walk in the dorm, if that sees potential for what you could be, you know, it might grab your bed, set it down, make it for you. You know, you got this guy over here trying to grab someone, bring him to the locker, showing Pantene, showing cigarettes, showing, you know, that he got you, showing a knife. You know, you're presented with a knife immediately for protection. You know, you got people questioning you, you know, like, what's happening, man? How you doing? Why you not smoking? You know what I'm saying? Why you not smoking, man? Why you not drinking no coffee? Everybody's smoking.
Yeah.
Well, you know, man, I don't have any cigarettes. You know what I'm saying?
That's the best damn fresh fish voice I've heard all month.
You know, I don't have anything. Well, what? Your family doesn't send you any money?
Oh, there goes the probe.
Well, no, man. I'm kind of on my own.
Oh
man.
man.
I got you. Come on. You know, come
That's
here.
his new daddy.
That's his new daddy. And bro, you know, as you know, you putting this content out for the world to see, and you would be surprised how many people come here and it's like they have no mind, bro. They have no clue what's going on. They have no clue what to be aware of. And if they do, sometimes they just scared to be aware of it.
Yeah, I've had, speaking of that type of kind of flipped scenario, I've had a few people, not a lot, I'd say probably about 2 or 3 people say to me in the DMs from, it looked like some kind of, you know, non-profile picture or something, like they made the account just to say this type of stuff to me. But hey, I've been put in this type of situation I was taken advantage of, man, and I want you to know that what you're saying can really help people, because I had no idea this shit was waiting for me, you know? So this is what I'm getting from people I've never, you know, I never would expect to be in the DMs, you know, and they have nothing to gain from that. That you could tell they're just saying it because they want to get off their damn chest, you know? And
you know, that's the biggest thing with a lot of people in prison, man. You know, like, just say a scenario, because it could happen to anybody. You're alone, You get crowded by 6 guys. Say they do rape you, because it happens. Say they do rape you, and you gotta live the rest of your life with that. You know, and even the rest of your life in prison. If you're taking, if somebody crowds you, 6 guys, they strap you down or hold you down, and they run a train on you, it doesn't make you a hoe. You know, it doesn't. Now, how you retaliate might solidify if you a hoe or not. You know what I'm saying? But just the initial, if you overtaken and overpowered, you can still live a normal life. But just imagine that thought, bro. You know, and there's a lot of people that's experiencing that today.
Yeah, they're probably living with a lot of regret too. Maybe they didn't handle the situation after the fact how they should have, or maybe they, you know, they succumbed to it and embraced a life that they didn't want to embrace. You know.
Yeah. Man, I'm gonna share one of the most crucial. It's not the most, but it's one of the most crucial stories that I have, man.
Oh man.
So that same facility, I had caught a dirty urine. So a dirty urine in the pen, you go on the working cell block for 6 months. You losing 6 months good time, and now you in the cell block. You still going to the field, but it's 23-1. You know, except for the field.
Yeah.
You know, you're still working.
Yeah.
So I go to the cell block. I end up going to extended, which we'll get back to extended after. But I came back. Hurricane Katrina hit the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, I remember.
See, I was in the pen for Katrina.
That's wild, man.
Hurricane Katrina hit, all right? All the parish jails started flooding. So they was bringing thousands of inmates to all the prisons up north because up north wasn't affected. So my whole parish jail, Terrebonne Parish, came to, well, half went to Angola, some went to Hunts, and some came to WCI. So I was locked in a cell for 1 year at this time already. I caught another dirty urine in the cell block. I had a fight in the cell block. I done been extended and back. Now they get the whole lockdown. There was guys that was in the cells for over 30 years, never even seen the compound.
Oh my God.
Now they're being released. Now we're being released. I say released, but we was released to the main prison.
Yeah.
So we had, it was called a transition dorm, all right? It holds 105 or 110 people. We had 286 people in it.
Deep.
They got people sleeping on the floors. They got people freaking renegade.
Yeah.
It's people are fighting for beds. So this dorm is like nothing that I've ever seen in my entire life. All right.
Yeah.
So we had no water and no electricity. Now we was running off of generators, but there was no cooking. Like the whole prison was shut down basically. Our gates, like the fence with the barbed wires, they were laid down flat. So we couldn't go on the yard because we had no fence. We literally had 55-gallon drums in the bathroom area, and me and 3 other men are around a 55-gallon drum with a face towel and soap, digging in the water and
stop playing, man.
I swear, bro. Look, the first time I seen somebody get shanked, they dug a bucket of water and flushed the toilet. So they was like, man, you using our bath water for the toilet. No, this for the bath. We got porta potties outside. There was a porta potty. There was like 2 or 3 porta potties on the yard for 700 people. You got guys looking out the porta potty jacking off. Dudes are sitting in the porta potty 30 and 40 minutes playing with themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
They loving that little privacy in that porta potty for a minute.
Man, they got rid of them porta potties so fast.
Oh God, I know there's some trouble in them things.
Bro, the night the actual night of the storm, I want to say the night of the storm, they had a guy, a white guy from up north. Now we down south. So even though you're in the state, if you're from up north and you're doing time down south, it's not in your favor. Because when we go up north, it ain't in our favor.
Yeah.
So this guy, he wasn't no coward. He was just a quiet guy. He's in the dorm. Well, somebody decides to get a little stripes and steal from the white guy.
Yeah.
He stole his shoes, stole his watch. Well, he was trying to sell it in the dorm. Word got back to the little guy that he's trying to sell your stuff. So, early in the morning, about 5 in the morning, dude grabbed his locker. Now, on our beds, at the end of the bed, we got a wall locker that's standing up, and you got a foot locker on your bed.
Yeah.
That you could take off and on. Bro, he took his foot locker, he picked it up, dude sleeping, he went over his head with his locker, wow, slammed it on his face. Bam. So dude jumped up, and took off running. He was jumping over, like from bed to bed, like it was lily pads.
Oh my God, I'm surprised he was moving after that.
Look, freaking dove in the control area where the dorm sergeant's at. And dude had locks. So dude's chasing him with some, no, rocks. I'm sorry, it wasn't locks. It was rocks in a sock.
Oh, rocks in a sock.
Rocks. So he's chasing him and dude, he jumps over with the correctional officer, grabs the chair that the dorm, a female dorm sergeant sits in. She told him, put that chair down. You ain't finna do nothing. Hey, bro, dude put the chair down. The people came in and rushed him. All right?
Yeah.
Now, check this out. We've been in this dorm now for almost a full week. All right? They had a guy that was in the back bunk, under the bunk, been getting raped for days.
What?
Been through count time and everything. So they coming in to count. They ain't counting. You got almost freaking 300 people in this dorm. They ain't counting.
They's acting like they counting.
Dude under the rack, almost dead. And look, it's so crazy because you could smell it in the dorm.
Oh man.
The first day they opened the dorm, because after all this is going on, they like, okay, look, we gotta let him out. We have to let him out.